Just a quick video to explain the sphere chuck that I'm going to use to make this star. It's a bit like a standard sphere chuck, and what I'm doing is there'll be a closure on this, I'll show you in a minute, but as I come round I'll be checking to centre it that each vertex is coming on the same cutting line, so that I know then when I make my cut in I'll be cutting in right. Anyway, that's the sort of, I'll be rotating this from point to point and then turning it the other way so that I'm working on the other side, and once I've done that 10 times I end up with the star. Now also, let me just get that. In the back of the chuck there is a point. Make sure you can see it. Yeah, and that's a 3.2mm Dremel bit ground down with a taper. And the reason for the taper is I'm going to use a fordham to drill in towards the centre at each of the points, and that I don't have any way of doing that dead accurately, so the taper is giving me a margin for error, because the important thing is that by the time it's at the bottom of the hole that is 3.2, and so the bottom of the, when it reaches the bottom of the hole, that's just to ease me centering up. There's a little bit of wiggle room for the error in any of the drilling that I've done. So between that centre and a live centre is how I'll be turning. The chuck closures I haven't done yet, and I'm making this video now because otherwise it's after the gut. That's going to be the closure plate. That'll be turned out to the same, I think it was 62mm, and then going down a little bit, so 60mm or something, whatever it turns out to be. That'll close it. But I didn't have any scrap wood. Well, I wouldn't have called it scrap wood at this size anyway, big enough to make the chuck, so I've made it a little bit undersized so that I can call that piece of wood scrap wood. Then I'm making a flange that's going to go over the top. I've still got to cut, that's going to be a ring, a flange, and that'll sit right back on there, be glued on, and that'll give me somewhere to attach the closure to. And something else I want to mention here is that at the start this is going to be relatively easy, because there'll be lots of material for the chuck to hold to, but as I turn more and more of the star away, all that's going to be holding it is 1, 2, 3, 4 points of contact inside that chuck, and a little bit of side, well, no, won't be even beside, just 4 points of contact of the ends of the star inside that chuck. And it is a bit of a concern, but just do that up so I don't have to hold on to it. I have done this kind of thing before. I'm thinking when I've got my holes in here anyway, I can just put a little bit of a, because what happens is as you're turning this away, you find that no matter how precise you've been, you find this will become loose and start to wobble. You'll have room to wobble in there. So I'm going to put little spacers. You use the holes to put little spacers to space it correctly, so that it won't wobble in the chuck. And as well as that, I'll probably put some anti-slip when it gets to the stage that it might start to wobble. I'll put some anti-slip stuff inside the chuck. Okay.